Okay, what really happens behind the scenes to host a successful event and an aligned, heart-centered, vision, like values-driven event? There we go. What really happens to create one of those? What does it look like? I am pulling back the curtain on my recent audio summit beyond the numbers, what worked, what didn't, powerful mindset shifts that I made beforehand, during, and after. This is part two. So if you have not listen to part one, I would suggest you pause this one, go back and listen to part one. I'll link it in the show notes as well. That way you can do that because we are jumping straight in to where we left off from part one. So let's get to it. Okay, welcome back. This is part two. If you missed it, I would highly recommend you go back and listen to part one. I am debriefing some of the things that showed up behind the scenes, what worked, what didn't, takeaways from the audio summit that I hosted in April beyond the numbers. So we were finishing off the last episode talking about the fact that promotion closed for my offer and I didn't hit my revenue goal by a long shot. And that if that was my goal, it would have been deemed a failed launch. But I don't feel that way at all. And here's why. The expectations that it has to happen now, it has to happen in this moment, were removed. I did not have that expectation. Obviously, we had the goal and the hope and the excitement, and you still, this is a process of being able to be so excited and believing that it can happen because there can be a degree of, like, you don't believe it's gonna happen, so, like, you're not excited, so then, like, it doesn't happen, and then you're not disappointed because you didn't really believe it was gonna happen, and, like, that's all about protecting ourselves as well. But there's an excitement. It's like, this is, like, what it's almost an expectation, right? And it's an expectation in a way where we're expecting it to happen, but we're not putting the timeline on it. This is the thing that I'm expecting to show up. This is the thing that I know is coming. And you can be so excited because, hey, I know that these amount of people that I'm looking for are going to be in this program or they're going to be in this container. We're going to have these clients. They're showing up, they're coming. And you can be so excited about that, but without taking yourself out that it has to happen now. I had a launch that I did before. It's only been a couple years ago. I'll put it that way. And I did not hit the goal that I had set. And it was one of my best launches that I had had to date. The most amount of opt-ins, the most amount of people there, even like live showing up. People were opening emails, people were engaged, and I closed doors on the offer with zero sales. Zero. And that took me out because I had created this expectation that it had to happen right now. If these people were going to buy, they had to buy right now. That was when it was gonna have to happen, and if they didn't buy, that meant that I was a horrible whatever, business owner, all of those things, like, I failed because it didn't happen right now, but that's not true, because I know that we have 210 episodes of the podcast of me giving value, not to mention social media and blog and emails and all of those things where I'm giving. This is the giving channel, right? So I can show up and I can give. And creating this summit was such a fun give. I loved doing the interviews. I so enjoyed it. And we're talked about like we're gonna do another season. I don't know exactly when yet. We're kind of planning things out and I'm feeling some of that out. We're gonna get to more of that in a second. But that was totally a give. But the giving is not tied to the receiving because I can have a client that like while we're recording this podcast right now can find an email that I sent whatever it was a week ago and be like, hey, I'm ready now. I'm ready to be all in in the unstoppable experience. Or you can listen to a podcast episode and be like, hey, I'm really ready for Money Mastery Academy. Or you know what, Execution Lab is just what I need. And they can find something from the work that I've done in the past, right? Like that it doesn't have to the work for money thing it's not a direct correlation. So I can show up and I can have fun and I can love doing the summit and do that as a give and know that the receiving is coming, even if it's not showing up right now, because it's going to happen. I know that. And this piece here, especially in an era where we're taught like work, 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 do the thing, and we can I think we're gonna dive into this on a money mindset series here soon. Even like how the things that we were taught in school growing up, like have sabotaged us as business owners. And I don't know that it was intentional or not. We don't have to get into any of that, but this is where we're at, right? But we'll get into that when we get into the money mindset series. I did love the dual positioning. I had Money Mastery Academy and the Unstoppable Experience. So you had two options for the offers that you could enroll in. So Money Mastery Academy is essentially like the DIY version, less support, all of the strategy. You did get 3 months of execution lab, so you do still have some support connection with me, but it's available at a lower price point to help you be like, heck yes, now. And then, of course, the Unstoppable Experience has the hybrid of the group coaching and the private support. And you've got the 12 months to truly make that transformation. So I loved having both options there and offering them at the same time. That way people can choose which one worked for them. Experience and even like the conversation that we just had with the financial part, right? And the revenue and knowing like when revenue is going to come in. This whole thing, probably like my primary goal for the summit was about it being a healing experience. Like I wanted to have fun. I wanted to do these things. Yes, I love the list growth that happened and revenue that's come in and going to come in, continue to come in as a result from the summit. But it was about being a healing experience because I had created a lot of little T trauma, mindset, whatever we want to call it, from the summit program that I had purchased before. And it was very much, like do XYZ and then you're going to get this result. And it was very much in the do these certain things to get the certain result, very much more masculine. But this was about like healing some of those things and knowing and remembering how to trust myself. And it was so much fun because of that. Like, even the things that didn't quite go the way that I wanted them to, I loved the experience. And I think if I hadn't done so much of the mindset, and really more than the mindset, because some of it's mindset and emotional regulation work. Let's see, the next thing here. Okay. I did offer a giveaway, and I love the idea of the giveaway, so I think that I'll do it again. I might shift it a little bit better or execute it a little bit better because I know I attract a lot of people in my audience who are watchers like I am. Like, we don't necessarily engage in the Facebook groups, but like, hey, we're there watching to see like what everybody else says, right? And then we're like, hey, yeah, I'm in. Like, we consume and we're seeing those things, but we're not necessarily the ones creating a lot of engagement. But I love the giveaways. This was like, hey, share your in for the summit, those things. We did drawings for credits for the program. So it was a great way for people to be able to work closer to me without finances being an obstacle. And it's also like an exercise, in belief. Like, hey, am I going to win the draw? Which I could have done a whole session on that. That might be a good idea for season 2. I talked about this a little bit, but really working on having the regulated nervous system through the launch. Like, it was there was a lot of hard with the prep work, but I was when I was going through and healing so much of that trauma and the things that I had created before. So when I was able to show up and be regulated and have fun and go to the zoo and do these things, like there was spaciousness in there because I had gotten to that point. Like it wasn't a dysregulated launch because, been there, done that, stressing over checking numbers and like, am I doing enough? And I have to do this. But there was a spaciousness there because I really worked on showing up to this event in a very regulated space. We talked a little bit about the spaciousness. I did get to add, like, there were some things that, hey, I had space for. So people who had clicked to check out the offer and hadn't purchased got a individual personalized. I sat here and recorded a voice note just for them. Like, it was not a generalized thing. But it was really fun to be able to sit and make space to record. And of course, I was losing my voice at the same time. That was kind of funny. Like, I think it was like 25 different voice notes that I sat there and recorded and sent out to these people because, again, I had created that spaciousness. I trust you, I trust me. Like, that part was there. And again, the regulation, it just made it so much fun. So, like, that part, I don't know that I can stress that enough. Like, if you're going to host an event, if you're going to do these things, like how can you do it in a way, get the tools, get the support to be able to help you show up in a regulated manner without the like have to make this work right now or else everything crashes around me because that's no fun. Talked a little bit about the fact that I don't close the doors. I don't like the false closed doors. I don't love the vibe of that. I have an automated onboarding process, so like that's available. That's much more of like how I operate in general versus specifically the summit. But with the offer we talked about, like I had the bonus in place. So for Money Mastery Academy, it was like a group support bonus. And then the Unstoppable Experience, it was a higher touch private support bonus. So there was a sense of urgency and a rewarding thing there by like, hey, let's take action. If you're ready now, let's take action while we're in the event. And like, I'm going to reward you for that, give you the bonus. But yeah, I don't do the false closed doors thing anymore. That doesn't vibe for me. And again, there's no shoulds. Like I think that was a large part of even like my pitch to the speakers when we were creating this. It was like we want to cut through the shoulds. Like I started my business to have freedom. I know that you did as well. This step-by-step thing, it doesn't feel good. And we have to learn to trust in the uncertainty. You have to learn to trust in yourself. Trust that it'll work. That you know And I think a large part okay, so, like, primary goal, right, was healing, like, having fun for me to host this event and have fun. The secondary one was really about helping the people that want trying to figure out how to word this here. Helping people know whether or not I'm the coach that they wanna work for. Like, if I can help you get clear on that, if you know I'm the person that I wanna work with, then it's just a matter of when. Like, "Hey, what container is right? When is it right for you?" Those were the goals, and I think that we really did this. Again, like, I wasn't crashing, I wasn't burnt out at the end of the launch, and I know so many times that we have that. So, the whole point was cutting through the shoulds and listening to yourself, like, that was the goal of the summit, and I know that the thing that, like, is the massive win in my column, like, is, "Hey, I hosted the summit and I did this. I did the thing," right? I did the thing that I wanted you to be able to do, and I even though I've taught this now for a little bit, and we've done some of those things, and I've done it on a smaller scale, I had not hosted a big event like that in a while since I had done so much of this work, hence some of the healing work that I had to do beforehand. But it was so much fun. It was so much fun to do this. And that might sound a little self-centered, like that I launched for me. It felt good. It felt fun. I loved it. And the Britney Spears song, circus, all eyes on me in the center of the ring, just like a circus, like that comes to mind, right? But it is though. And this is the same thing for you. This is what I want you to hear from this. Like for me, it's my business. And yes, I love serving my clients and the people that are in my world. Like I got an email last week from a prospective client that like she going back and forth via email. So it was like a private email. And she told me that my response brought tears to her eyes because she felt seen and she felt heard, and she hasn't had that. And that means so much because that's the goal. But if I didn't show up and I didn't know that, like, hey, this is for me, and being able to own that, like knowing there's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken, all of those things. Like, we have to work on ourselves. For most of us here, we run personal brands. We're not hiding behind corporate. Corporate stuff doesn't work here because you're selling you. And not in a weird way, like no sex trafficking, none of those things, right? You're selling you and you have to be the person. You have to stand in your power. You have to stand in your authority. Like, yes, we are working on money. We're working on your business. We're doing so many of those things. And I'm working on like an in-depth experience that I think we're just going to be able to dive into this that I'm so excited about. But you have to get to that point. And that's really the biggest takeaway for the event. It's what a huge win it was and how much fun it was and how excited and, like, the motivation, and again, like, I built the entire opt-in page in, like, 45 minutes, and I was putting it off, I didn't feel like I had the words, I couldn't quite figure out the wording, those things, it needed to be done, And I do a lot of my like emotional regulation work like in the evening after the kids go to bed because hey, that's when I have me time, right? So I had done some of that work, got ready, went to bed. I was laying in bed. It was like midnight. And all of a sudden, I was wide awake and I could just see it. I was writing the opt-in page in my head. So I finally just got up and like worked for 45 minutes. And the entire opt-in page was built like just like that because it was in alignment, it was in fun, it was in my power as opposed to succumbing to all of the shoulds and I should do this and this has to happen and those things. Like when you can trust yourself and trust yourself with the money. Like we do all these things. We work on the strategy with the money because we can talk about the fact that we're avoiding our finances because we're afraid of being wrong. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of all of these different things. We can work through all these mindset obstacles. And when we do that, then you move forward. Like, but it's really about your personal power. And we do so much of this. And that's really what I want you to hear from this behind the scenes of Beyond the Numbers. It's like things didn't go perfectly according to plan. I didn't hit all of the goals, but this was such a huge win. Like, I don't even know that I can describe it. And I want that for you as well. So, if this episode sparked something for you, whether it was like, okay, these are some crazy mindset shifts that you're talking about, Amy, or maybe some like specific behind the scenes detail, I would love for you to grab right now. It's the Money Mindset Mastery Checklist. It's currently getting a rebrand. The guide's getting an entire update, and I'm going to release a private podcast with it as well. But if you grab it now, you're going to get the update when it's available. Currently, it's 10 simple steps to help you create an unshakable it should be an unstoppable money mindset, but hey, that's why we're getting the update, right? But really, what we're going back to is it's so much more than a step by step checklist. You do this and you're done. But it's a playbook. It's a way that we operate. It's a ways that we show up to be able to help you unlock that next level. And of course, we're going to do it all with the lens of aligned strategy and emotional regulation as well. So go to amycirca.com/mindset. That link's going to be in the show notes as well. But let's untangle the beliefs and the patterns that are keeping you stuck financially. I'd love to hear what you resonated with on this episode because I know this was a little bit different, right? Behind the scenes. So, what resonated with you from this episode? What did you love? What did you not love? Side note, I didn't mention this. I love the audio only format. We are definitely keeping that. Even like a video summit that I was listening to the other day. I literally just stuck my earbuds in and like had my tablet. Like I walked off. We're listening to things. So love that format. Definitely keeping that. I don't know how I missed that in my notes, but send me a message on Instagram at Amy Circa. I want to hear what was your biggest takeaway, and then make sure you grab the Money Mindset Mastery Checklist / Money Mindset Playbook. And stay tuned. There are so many awesome things coming. I can't wait for you to dive in. That's what I've got for now. If you're struggling with shame and guilt around your finances, whether it's debt, impulse spending, mistakes from the past, or the fact that you still haven't hit your income goal, then it's time for you to work with me. There are different levels of support and price points that you can use on the path to removing that guilt and shame so you can step into your unstoppable life. After all, your finances are unique to you, and your support should be too. Go to workwithamy.com to get started with one of my most popular programs, or you can book a Q&A call with me and we'll figure out what that next step should be. And those links are hanging out in the description of this video as well.